Wagwan YouTube. Nigel's finest. David Tickham, aka Saucy Day, back again for another road to six figures. And yes, I have a big announcement to make. Big announcement. It's gonna take some getting adjusted to, and I'm gonna drop a separate video pertaining to that's gonna go into more detail about what I'm about to share with you. But right now, I'm just gonna tell you what it is, and the big reveal that I've been waiting to tell you guys. Drum roll, please. I switched over to futures. And yes, wait, I thought you were trading on the foreign exchange market. On a video that I will drop separately, I will go into detail and explain why exactly I decided to make this shift and why this shift is going to propel me and whoever wants to also make this shift with me to heights that we haven't reached before. Don't get me wrong, I still believe the liquidity in the foreign exchange market is just as great. However, there's some things that I will explain as to pertaining for my reason for my shift. However, I took a lot of time to do my research, make my changes, and yeah, like as you can see, you don't see any GBP USD. You see crude oil on the screen, right? And Nas is still there, obviously, but you see crude oil. And like I told you, I'll go into more detail on a separate video about these epic changes and what it's going to bring for me and those of you who also would like to make that switch and may find it to be easier and smoother for you than trading on the foreign exchange market. Mind you, you can still trade Forex on futures, by the way, just to let you know. I just choose not to. So let's start with Monday, March 4th, 2024, right? So as we can see, I'm on light crude oil futures. My first trade on a funded account. I'm like I said on the next video, I will get into detail on all of these little things. Right now, I just want you guys to focus strategy on how the week went, and then we're gonna go from there. So as you can see on H4, we're still trending up with the indicators pushing to the upside. On a 1 hour, as we can see, it was pushing to the upside. Do it right here. As we can see, it's pushing to the upside. 15-minute, pushing to the upside. I marked the break of structure. It should be off the 5-minute. We got a break of structure, 250 EMA right there. So we let it play out. And what made me take this trade, number one, I'm learning, definitely use a demo, see how your contracts work first. I was a little aggressive. Not aggressive, but I went a little heavy on this as compared to what I thought. Because still learning ticks and learning how they move with contract, you'll see that you can still make a lot in a little space with futures. And I think this is the biggest learning curve that I'm learning, switching from trading regular Forex to trading futures. But it was definitely a great learning lesson. Well, as we can see, was pretty high, you can say. It was falling from some of London, came back up during pre-New York, and as we can see, we got we had the zone. We got the breaker candle right here, this candle right here, and price just dropped. As we can see, the 50 SMA, as I always tell you, is very important, because this could have easily just tapped this right here on this candle right here. Let me go back real quick. One more time. You see on this candle right here, it could have tapped. As you can see, could have maintained. However, it just chose to break, and it was what it was. So I ended up losing on that one. The next trade I took that day was a Nas 100 trade, as well on March 4th. You know I love me some Nas. As we can see, the 1 hour gave us bullish. We're bullish on all time frame. We're bullish on the 1 hour. 200 on the bottom, 200 on the bottom, bullish. As you can see, if we're looking at structure, it's really just, it's not really doing too much, right? So we go to the 5 minute and we can clearly see that it's the opposite of both. We can clearly see that it's the opposite of both time frames. But I seen a clear break of structure, 2 break of structures actually, major break of structures to the downside. After ranging, I seen a high probability right here. Got in on a little, just slightly a little late on this break of candle, and I actually expected it to drop because of how much, as we can see how high it was and how much space we had to fill. However, I think on this, I got in on this candle, but this candle literally, it literally pushed back. I didn't get in on, no. This is exactly what happened. I got in and I reached the limit for the day because I went in too high of contracts. This trade, I actually would have been able to take some profit from this. Even if it came back, I would have been able to get out this trade with profit. But like I told you, Monday was my way of really getting used to testing out like my contracts. I went a little heavy. Definitely learned my lesson on Monday. Leveraged way more than I should have, and entering this next week is going to be a lot better. But definitely that was why this was a loss. This could have easily been a break even with profit or a nice profitable trade. I don't think it ended up smacking my TP, but it definitely came mighty close. So boom, that was Monday. Tuesday, March 5th, I don't think I seen any trades that day. Wednesday I actually took some trades. So Wednesday, as we can see, go bar replay. Took a trade on oil, 200 running on the bottom, 15 minute. We had 200 running on the bottom, 1 hour demand set up. As we can see, 1 hour demand. And then on the 5 minute, I had set it up. So let's see what happened. Boom. It did a little, it broke the zone, the 5 minute zone, but it did a liquidity sweep. It touched the 50 SMA. My problem was that when I seen it come back just a little when it was up here, this is, like I said, I was still over leveraging with my contracts. And with all my psychology, I getting used to understanding its risk. I didn't predetermine my risk. This is just me being honest. I didn't predetermine my risk. So when I started seeing it pull back a little bit, I know I had multiple confluences. I knew my edge was, a lot of things were in my favor. I knew we had a breaker structure and everything. Did a liquidity of grab of these two, 50 SMA pushing strong to the upside. However, in that moment in time when I seen live price action, I got out with some profit, and look at what ended up happening. I'm not even gonna keep it going. Just know this was definitely a learning lesson, and this let me know, like, David, this is still one of the things that I know I'm gonna just get better at, is catching because these moves could be these moves could be the setup for the week, honestly, and everything else I don't have to do too much. Like, these could be the big moves that really reach big profitability, but I gotta learn how to accept your risk. So it's an ongoing thing. Accept risk, do proper risk management so that when it does go into the negatives, so that when you do see that your price might be coming down for a little bit, you don't get too antsy. You stay in, trust it, and it blesses you. So I took that break even, and I'm pretty sure I took a trade on Nas 100 as well on Wednesday. Yep, as we can see. Boom. 200 was flat on the 1 hour. On the 15, 200 was flowing up top. We had a break of structure on the 15. Went to the 5 minute. 5 minute supply zone. High probability supply zone. And this was another thing. Got in on this break of candle within the zone. This is why I was a little iffy. I seen it was within the zone. Started seeing it pull back. Once again, used too many contracts, which is why when it started pulling back a couple ticks, them ticks really, they move your profit a lot. Once I seen them ticks moving, I was like, I'm not too sure about this one. And it caused me to get out in profit before it came back into the negatives. And then once again, smacked my stop loss before then reversing. So this was definitely a trade that I should have won, but I didn't. And I understand why. Once again, my two things that I'm continuously noticing: putting in too many contracts and not accepting and predetermining my risk. Those two things are very much fatal, and it's what's really causing my unprofitability and me not staying in the trades for big winning trades. You know what I'm saying? So I just got to be smart about that and understand what I'm risking so that I can catch these moves, so I can stay in these moves, because I'm definitely finding them. Finding them is not the issue. It's staying in that trade when you're in live price action, being able to stay in the red and understand okay, I trust that even if it hits my stop loss, my account will be good. And that comes from having proper risk management. Key. So boom, that was Tuesday. We don't really have to do too much. We're just gonna let price flow to the next one. So Wednesday was a little I don't force nothing. That's what I love about how I trade now. I really don't force nothing. If I don't see nothing I don't like, I don't take a trade that day. I learned not to force. So as we can see, 200 on the bottom, 50 SMA coming up. This is Nas 100. We got a breaker structure on the 1 hour. 200 flowing on the bottom. 50 on the way up. 5 minute. Let's see. Same thing, breaker structure. We got a high probability 5 minute demand. So with this one, once again, I got out once I seen it pull it back, but it never hit my stop loss. So you know what I did? This was towards the end of my trading time too. But the reason why I chose to get back in, especially when it was so late in my trading session, I cut off at 11, was because it never broke the zone. 50 SMA was still floating right here. So it was still a high probability trade, right? So due to that fact and due to it not breaking my zone, but coming back down to touch down, got right back in, went for my 1-to-1, and I profited. And I got out and I was done for the day. So that was Thursday. Now let's go to Friday to finish it up. So Friday, let's take a look. Friday, the 8th. Pretty sure I took 2 trades. Did I take a trade? No, I only took 1 trade on Nas. So on Friday, I only took 1 trade on Nas. and I'm gonna explain why once again. So as we can see, we had H4, it's leaving H4 demand, 200 flowing on the bottom, 200 flowing on the bottom, 50 SMA flowing over top, which is why, as you can see, it's pulling down. But let's cut to this area. We had a 1 hour demand. This is what I'm looking at, right? But it had a crazy gap. And this was an error on me that I had to be aware of. So although it had the gap, I was like, this is Nas. Nas loves to push price up. Like majority of the time, Nas is always pushing price up. So although I seen the gap, I was like, they might not be trying to fill the gap in yet. So based on what I know Nas to do, but I knew I'd like, okay, make sure you risk manage. So we had the 15-minute zone, 5-minute zone as I marked off. Look, as I marked off, the liquidity grabbed the zone. I got in very, very late. Yeah, I got in very, very late. I got in like right here. And I should have seen, like, whenever it does this, don't force it. And as you can see, after the second breaking candle and not seeing it touch the 50 SMA, I should have gotten out, but I didn't. And due to that fact, it came down. I only used, I literally reduced my contracts. And because, you know, the stop loss was still huge, is NAS 100, still took a pretty big hit. So I only took one trade today. And yeah, learned my lesson. Whenever I realized too, whenever I see that it's holding at 50 SMA, wherever direction it spurs out from the 50, and it's not in my favor, close it, because it holds from the 50. And as we can see, what ends up happening, goes right back to the zone. Guess we get another breaking candle, and as we can see, it totally breaks it, and it comes and basically hits my take profit. You know, it happens. It happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, happens. It never broke the zone. Just came back, retouched the zone, and it was out. With that being said, next week is going to be a brand new week to trade. I got little things to fix now. At this point, it's not really me. Like, I still don't seek revenge on the market. At the end of the day, the market just giving us information, and how we perceive it is up to us. There's a lot of variables that go into the market, so next week is still going to be a whole unique week of trading. I can win all week. I may take a lot of losses. Who knows? All I know is I have to trust my edge. I have to execute on my edge. And when I see it, I have to stay in those trades. Still pay attention to live price action. However, understand that with risk management and accepting how much I can lose, I'll be able to better maintain myself within my trades, so that it may go for 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5, so that when I do take little losses, it's not very impactful, and I still finish the week in good profit. So that's the goal. That's what I'm going towards for next week. And yeah, I'm just going to continue to take the same trades I've been taking and continue to get better at trusting following my trading plan, trusting finding these setups and executing, finding these setups with my edge and executing. As long as I continue to do that, I can continue to improve my risk management and my observation and live price action, so I can catch those huge moves more consistently. You know what I'm saying? But I have to be the consistency because I already know the market is not. The market has too many variables, too many other traders, too many other things that play a role that moves price. So with that being said, thank you for listening. If you have any questions, anything you want to know, anything you're curious about, leave a comment, leave a like if you enjoyed this video and you found something purposeful from it or learned something from it, or you just, you like me, you feel me? And subscribe if you want to see more content like this and other different things coming to the channel in due time. With that being said, it's David Tickholm, aka Saucy Day, and I'm gonna catch you on the next one.